He looks at me, he goes, Timmy, I'm so sorry. And I was a little shocked, and he was like, he tapped me on the shoulder, and he was like, God bless you. And I was like, yeah, God bless you too, walking away like, that dude's a freak. Because not many guys handle things like that. Exactly. So it was pretty interesting, but what a fun experience it was, and last year was very special.
You were sidelined for the first part of it, so describe for me some of the frustration, and I think that's a moment, especially as an athlete, where you can start to doubt to doubt yourself, to doubt your abilities, to how do you have a chance to lead if you're not leading?
Well, I think that's just something that I learned early on at Florida from coaches. You consistently try to work hard, and when you get your opportunity, as Coach always says, that when your number's called, you have to go in there and you have to make the most of it. And that was one of our biggest themes at Florida, was when your number's called, do you have competitive excellence, or are you going to stand up when your number's called? Maybe that's in the fourth quarter, maybe that's when you get your 3 plays a game, whenever that is, but you have to be ready and willing to go perform when your number's called.
Then your number was called.
I tried to be ready.
And it seemed you were ready a lot. Tell me about what that was like, because not only was the game intense, the media scrutiny was intense.
Well, that's not something that I worry about. I learned, again, early on at Florida from coaches.
It didn't bother you? You didn't think that?
Well, don't worry about what you can't control. There's a lot of things that we can't control. We can't control what people write about us, what they say about us, but we can control a few things. Our attitude, our effort, our focus, and how we go about treating our teammates. Those are things that we can control, and so that's what I'm going to focus on every single day.
In that great time, and when you were having these amazing victories, there was also sometimes, they played sound bites of your coach. Sometimes it would sound like, yeah, I don't really want Tim in the game. I mean, was it hard for you to hear that?
Again, that's not something that I worry about. I just worry about going out there and trying to be a great teammate and trying to find a way to win games, and that was my focus. It wasn't anything else, and especially things that I can't control.
Was it hard for you to watch that? Because I know you, like the rest of America, even people, Broncos fans, were all watching Broncos. Was it hard for you to watch him, knowing him, and seeing sometimes people were making fun of the Tebowing? People were stunned at the...
I think, if you go to Tebowing, I mean, what is Tebowing? I mean, I've had the same routine for the last 7 years, and all of a sudden this last year, people start calling it Tebowing. Really? I'm getting on a knee and praying. And I think what's cool about that is at least that's being something that's talked about is prayer, or getting on a knee and praying. And it's funny because like a few times when I get sacked, like the person that sacked me would get on a knee and Tebow, and I'm like, well, are you like honoring me, or are you just praying, or is that supposed to mock me? Because if anything, it's pretty cool because you're praying. So there you go.
When you were watching all of that, what did you think?
I think that I get so close to these guys, whether it's Alex Smith, Chris Lee, Tim Tebow, or it's when I see someone get criticized, it's like my child, it's like my kid, and so I can say it, no, I'd be lying to you, sure, you know what, so.
And I know you were lying to me.
It did bother me, but at the end of the day, what I learned from him, you really can't control it. I mean, you can't, to waste energy and be worried about that, even my wife would say, he's the ultimate, that really does not bother me. And so as a coach, you get criticized as well, and I've really learned from Tim that you can't, to waste, for example, this conversation, we should talk about leadership instead of worrying about what people think about us, because you can't control it.
I think sometimes, and I think sometimes, though, people find it hard to lead because they're derailed by what people around them think. I think a lot of leaders struggle. They struggle to motivate a team because they're personally mad. They're personally stuck. They can't move to, feeling like they can run out front because they're stuck in all those other things about how people are feeling about them. And I think a lot of people in this room who are watching the Leadercast are curious to know, how do you get through that? Because it's really the leaders who manage to break through and lead in very difficult circumstances when everybody else who's not a leader gets stuck. That's the secret that I'm looking for.
I think your comments are profound. I really do. I think that's the essence, and I failed often about that. I did learn that from Tim. And where do you go? Some people go to drink. Some people, because you have to deal with it somehow. the way I've learned to deal with it through Tim is your faith and your family, and that's it. So when I have a bad day, when I get articles or people saying negative things, faith and family, right? You get right through it immediately, and you get to focus your energy on much more important things.
You say the same thing. Is it faith and family?
Absolutely, without a doubt. That's how you get through these things. And I think also just learning, when you're hearing negative things or you have a bad day, to really just try to let it go in one ear and out the other. And it is really hard because sometimes it's very easy to take things personal. But you really try not to, and try to let it just go in one ear out the other, and focus on what you can control. And it sounds so cliche, but it's so true. And when you can really find a way to do that, it will change your life. And it has for me, because when I got to the University of Florida, it was all these things, and it was my first time really dealing with it. And then kind of when I got to the point where I could kind of let it go, I just could live and play with so much more peace, because I knew that no matter what happened to me in football, no matter what games I won or lost, and it didn't matter what the future holds, because I knew who held my future. And in that there was peace, and in that there was comfort, and that I didn't have to worry about what articles were written about me.
I remember talking to, I have twin boys who are 7, so they are so excited that I'm talking to you. I mean, they wanted me to spring them from first grade and bring them as well, which I told them I couldn't do. But I remember one game you were describing, you said something like, it's just a game. And I think that's almost anathema. I mean, other athletes I've spoken to feel that if they say that out loud, people will think they're not serious, that they're not warriors. And I loved it as a mother, because I felt that that's kind of the message I want to give my kids. Like, it's important, but it's not everything. Was it hard? Were there people on the team that you were trying to motivate that you had to explain that message?
No, not at all, because people on the teams that I play with, they know how much I care about winning. There's a reason after some of those losses, after we lost here to Alabama my senior year, there's a reason why I was crying. It's because I care about the games that I play. I care about winning and losing. But what helps me deal with that is I know that at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's a game that most of us here are probably very passionate about. We care a lot about, and it's something that's important to us, but it's just a game. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things whether you win or lose, or how many championships or how many trophies you have. But the goal for me in my life is to take the platform that God has given me in the game of football and be able to use that to make a difference in people's lives. Like my mission statement says, is to bring faith, hope, and love to those needing a brighter day in their darkest hour of need. And I believe you can do that through the game of football and through the platform that football gives you to really make a difference in this world and to be a good role model. And it's so frustrating for me to see when you have all these athletes, celebrities, entertainers say, you know what, I'm not a role model. Yes, you are. You're just not a very good one. Something that I firmly believe that, I'm not here to be the best football player I can be. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can. But more importantly than that, I'm here to try to be a great role model. I'm trying to be someone like Danny Werfel was to me. I remember when I was an 8-year-old boy, Danny Werfel came to my church, and I waited in line. It was probably the 120th kid in line to meet Danny Werfel, but he signed and signed and signed until he got to me. I still have that autograph in my parents' house in Jacksonville, Florida. I remember how that made me feel. And to now think about that, I have that ability to sign an autograph for a kid or take a picture with him or hug him. Why? Because I'm special? Absolutely not. It's because I play a silly game of football. But I have the ability to put a smile on a kid's face or walk into a hospital and give those kids a hug, and they can smile about it, they can have hope about it, you can spend time with them, and you can invest in their lives. And ultimately, that's what it's about. It's not about winning or losing games. And if that is ultimately what it's about for you, then I'm sorry, because that's a very shallow life, because it's a game of football. And if it's not deeper than that, then something's wrong.
How do you see yourself leading as you make the move to New York?
Well, I'm excited about it.
The New York press is so excited to have you.
We have a great team, and they've been very successful the past few years, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it. And I just am going to go in and work as hard as I can every day, and just hopefully find a way to help that team just improve just a little bit.
Do you think, in terms of your brand, you have a huge brand? People today people who are not professional athletes talk to me about their brand. I'm like, who are you? But do you think about a brand?
Not really. A brand is something that you do for marketing or for other reasons. I just try to be real and authentic and just be who I am, and be the same kid that grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, and not change because you're trying to get a brand or you're in New York City. Just be the same person and someone that's real and authentic and someone that just wants to make a difference and someone that loves playing the game of football and is so blessed to do it, but knows that there's more important things than football.
What kind of advice are you going to give him as he heads to New York City? New York press, we love people and we hate you. New York press is so excited to have you, but they are excited to make you a star and they will follow you around and hide in the bushes to see what's going on in your life. What advice do you have?
I'm not here for advice. I did tell him this, though, that the decision he made to come back to Florida was because of his platform. Then he went to Denver Broncos. You're talking about the biggest platform in the world, big boy. You are in a big city now. So you got your platform.
Do you have a thing you want to do with that platform in New York?
I don't necessarily know what my passion is being formed in New York, but I know that I want to bring my foundation there and continue to build it in New York and around the country and around the world. And that's something that I'm so passionate about because that is a tangible way that you can see that your platform is really making a difference. And I'm so blessed that Coach Meyer is actually on my board of my foundation, and he cares so much about making a difference in people's lives. And right now we're in the middle of building a Tebow Cure hospital in the Philippines, and we're building 18 Timmy's playrooms, and we support a little over 650 orphans, and we're really trying to make a difference because we know that's what it's about. And I'm so blessed that Coach Meyer has been so supportive of that.
I feel like people who are leaders, and I've studied a lot of leaders and done many documentaries on leaders like Dr. King, are always trying to improve. Even when we would think they're done, that they're great, they're always sort of trying to grow some more. What do you need to work on still in terms of leadership for both of you? Where do you think you could take another step?
I think it's an everyday constant battle. So many times in life, people wake up and they say, man, I can't wait to get this day done. I can't wait to get practice over. I can't wait to get done with my workouts. I can't wait till I have free time where I can go out to eat and I can hang out and relax. And I think that's a total wrong approach to life. If you wake up and you say, man, I can't wait to get better today. I can't wait to have an impact in someone's life today. I can't wait to do something positive with my life today. That's a completely different outlook. And it's every day that I want to wake up with that outlook, where I say, man, I want to make a difference in someone's life. I want to get better as a football player today. I want to be better as a person today. But more importantly, I want to make someone else's life better today because I'm here. And if you wake up and you try to have that attitude, I think it changes your day and it will change your life. Pretty strong.
Two things I didn't work on. Number one is the it's just a game mentality. I'm still not quite there. The second one is my year at ESPN with a great company, great people, and what I learned. The reason why ESPN is the worldwide leaders who they are is because of the ability for them to keep their focus in center field. And as a leader, the minute I start worrying about things I can't control, you have a certain amount of energy. If you're going to put your family, your wife, your faith, that takes up a lot of energy. Your job, if you start spraying in the right and left field, you don't keep it focused. So I'm going to focus on what I do, what I like to do, and that's coach players, veteran players, and work for my staff. Other than that, and recruit, other than that, I'm not going to do it.
I think that's something that people in this room and people who are watching live stream this can walk away with that. Okay, that's pick your passion and focus on that. Don't be distracted. What would you give as advice to all the people who watch you and say, what's the takeaway for me, who's not a professional football player, just a person sitting out here who wants to improve as a leader?
Well, I think there's a few things that I would think about and that I constantly try to work on every single day as far as being a leader. How are you a leader? How do people look at you and how can you influence? And like I said right at the beginning, it's a few things that I believe how you're a leader is, number one, by being someone that loves what they do. Someone that literally loves what they do. I love playing the game of football. If you don't love it, it'll be so hard to do anything else.
Yes, Lord.
Do you really love what you do? And secondly, are you passionate about what you do? Are you going out there every day with a passion for what you do? And a passion is a lot different than, motivation or hype. Those are very different because, being motivated, that comes and goes. And being hype, that's a feeling you get for a little while. But actually, passion is something that comes from down deep. It's something that whether you feel good or you feel bad, you're still going to go out there and you're still going to do it because you're passionate about it. It's something that comes from down deep. And I think the third is, are you willing to sacrifice? Because I think when you're willing to sacrifice, more than the people around you, they're going to realize, wow, he really cares a lot about what he's doing, and I want to see exactly what he's doing. And so when you love what you do, you're passionate about it, you're willing to sacrifice, I think it makes a huge impact.
Excellent. It's nice for people who really want to be leaders. It's nice to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure.